This is a video review of the Qantas Flight QF35 from Melbourne to Singapore in economy class. We set off to the airport in late April on a Sunday morning at approximately 8:30 a.m. Takes about an hour and 42 k's to go from our house to the airport. Once we got there, there were very little in the way of queues at check-in, and before too long we were checked in and through immigration into the duty-free area. This was a lot busier than we'd since been about a year ago, which is good to see that there's so many people travelling. Before we left, we didn't have time to get money exchanged, so made the mistake of changing a couple of $100 Australian to Singapore dollars. The exchange rate at the airport was quite bad. I think you can get probably 15% better exchange rate at an ATM in Singapore. So my advice to you is that if you need to change money, do it elsewhere or wait until you get to Singapore to do so. Because I had transferred quite a few frequent flyer points from Amex to the Qantas frequent flyer program, I was offered and took up 2 tickets to the Qantas Business Lounge. The lounge at Melbourne Airport is in a windowless area, so it makes it look a bit sort of drab and not really that inviting. It's got a coffee station, a meals area, an area where you can get drinks. There's a separate barista station, magazines to read, plenty of TV screens to look at TV, and flight departures. It's probably looking a bit tired. It was okay. The food was nothing special. The drink selection was somewhat limited. Yeah, I think it needs to be updated. It's probably well overdue. And stick in some windows because it was quite uninviting, really. We had a couple of hours to kill because there wasn't any real queues lining up to get checked in or through immigration or security checks, so it was all quite easy and relaxed. And after relaxing in the lounge, we made our way to the boarding gate for the usual scramble of getting onto the plane with all the other passengers. We boarded the plane and were greeted by the wildly enthusiastic Qantas staff. I guess you expect this if you're flying Qantas. We made our way to our seats. We were in seats 36A and 36B in economy class, stowed our bags in the overhead lockers and took to our seats. The first thing I noticed when I sat down was how dirty the seat in front of me was. It looked like food had splattered all over the back of the seat in front, and it should have been obvious to any cleaner that it should have been cleaned up. The legroom was quite sufficient. I'm about 5'7", and there was plenty of room for me. Perhaps the elbow room was a little bit short, but nice, comfortable seats. And what you see here is the entertainment system, which comprises of a tablet and a cover, and it simply slides into place in the space provided in the back of the seat in front. There are some sort of yucky cords that do protrude a little bit, but that was quite manageable. These tablets are just as fast as normal entertainment systems, although they do lack the in-flight maps and speed and outside temperature, and that's certainly something that I did miss a bit on the trip. We were provided with a bottle of water, there it is there, a blanket and a pillow.
Like this. Yours are a little more modern. You'll find one under your seat, next to it, or in the leg rest. Remove your life jacket from the pouch by pulling the tab. Put it over your head.
The Qantas safety announcement was designed to be shown during the actual audio narrative. And in terms of these tablets, well, nothing was on there. So I think that's a bit of a safety fail in my view, in that you know, you need to see what's going on the safety video, and there is no safety video. So that has to be a safety fail in my book. The plane was quite full. I didn't see an empty seat in either economy or business class. After a bit of taxiing, we took off for our 8-hour journey from Melbourne to Singapore. The entertainment system was quite responsive, had a large selection of TV shows and movies, but did suffer from quite bad reflection in the bright daylight. The reflection situation did improve as the ambient light around decreased during the flight. A thing to note is the space in the seat in front of you is too small to store a laptop or even a Surface Pro or a decent sized tablet. You were, however, able to plug your noise cancelling headsets in and use those. And you can see that we were served drinks. I had a scotch, I think Joe had a fizzy drink within about half an hour of takeoff. I was late in selecting my meal preference. I believe you need to do this 24 hours before the flight, and therefore I didn't put a selection for gluten-free meals. I alerted the hostess to this, and she was kind enough to come back with her mobile phone. She checked all the ingredients of each of the meals that were provided in economy class, and together we decided that the vegetarian curry would have been the safest option for me. I had this. It was very nice, tasty, warm, and it's the meal that Joe had as well. Exceptionally good customer service, Qantas. Really good. I received some sort of muesli bar for dessert, and Joe got a paddle pop. A paddle pop is probably one of the cheapest ice creams one can buy. Qantas used to serve magnums in economy class, but they've degenerated to paddle pops. This particular one looked like it had been frozen and melted and refrozen a couple of times, and it was far from enticing. About 6 or so hours in, we received our second meal, which was some sort of snacks. Joe received vegetable samosas and vegetable spring rolls, which were quite nice, nicely warm and very nice taste. And she had a cup of tea. The flight attendant was kind enough to bring me some fruit. It looked like it came from business class because of the steel fork and the cutlery. And I did forget to take a full video of this, so there was more fruit on the plate than it appears. We disembarked in Terminal 1 at Changi Airport and made our way through to customs. A handy tip is to pre-fill out the Singapore arrival card with an electronic health declaration to skip what was a pretty small queue, but that'll save you a few minutes at immigration when you land. And in terms of the duty-free store at Singapore Airport Terminal 1, it took Joe less time to pick up our bags from the baggage carousel than it did for me to select and pay for the one bottle of duty free that I got in Singapore. What you're seeing now is the monorail that takes us between Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. In order to catch the metro system, you do need to catch it from Terminal 2, so this was both free and a very efficient way of travelling between the two terminals. I was pretty happy overall with the flight. Given that we'd stuffed up our food preferences, the staff were very attentive and really looked after us. The quality of most of the food was pretty good. The seats were quite comfortable, if short of a bit of elbow room for Joe and I. The flight was pretty good value in terms of dollars and points, and the cabin crew customer service was excellent. I do hope you've liked this video review. If so, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons. And until our next adventure, bye.